we might well address the fact that we can defend ourselves if attacked, as this is our right. The real self will and can bring to bear the necessary means by which we can survive during our real side adventures and explorations, and we become more adept at this as our awareness increases. Awareness equates to a better handling of ourselves and all of creation, as it becomes more so, and the personal self is more inclined and comfortable to pass the reins over to the real self. The personal self interjects less and is assured that the real self is better equipped to deal with anything, as the real you oversees all of creation and accesses whatever of it is required for any given eventuality. The personal self is limited to its current lifetime storehouse of references, and without the involvement of the real self, without the connection to the real awareness, the personal self alone is fair game on the real side. And initially, when we start our process of awareness, we tend to receive quite a battering from aggressive individuals, reptilians, and other minions of the controllers, who are most displeased with our attempts to escape their control, to defy them, and assist others in this endeavour also. As time goes by, however, the real self takes control of such situations with encounters with the dark forces. The personal self sees the prudence in this, and content to not intercede, and indeed watch with mirth as the attackers scatter before the indomitable real you, and victory and safety is generally assured, coupled with the protection of the real guides, as they forever watch over those daring to take the risk and wishing to see and be more than what they have resigned themselves to for the longest time within the limited considerations and agreements of the personal self. We may also consider the use of the psychic forces of creational manipulation as achieved through the ethereal vehicle, of how one of the tests of creation is, on accessing this part of the created self, how the temptation of becoming a black or white magician becomes available, and yet, in keeping with the polarity snares of the simulators, in that the matrix of opposites, good, bad, right, wrong, etc., are all still created ideas and considerations, and regardless of how they seem to the personal self, the effects will follow, and an adherence to any idea incorporated and decided upon, any action taken that falls on either side of this polarity, will result in more unconscious future lifetimes, as we become the effects, such as Jesus and his unnecessary psychic manipulations, for he was only required to present the ears with the backing of the guides, but he would overreach and bring these psychic sciences to bear, embroiling himself in cause and effect, karmic repercussions. The only time such abilities do not get us into karmic bother is if our actions are in alignment with the real intent of his recognition, that we are sincere and pure in our actions, that our actions are of a benefit for the whole of life, that they assist others and ourselves in becoming more aware, or that we use our abilities where necessary to defend ourselves, as the dark forces encroach on our experience. Many times individuals are persuaded to join the dark forces when accessing these psychic science ethereal capabilities, and their talents utilized for the continued control systems of the Kalom God, or they may well take the stance of the opposing force, the white magician, and consider themselves to be noble and good in their opposition. But either choice is a decision to remain in creation, as absent of the connection to the real self, the guides, and the ears with the real intent recognized and embraced, the individual instead has subjected themselves to further effect experiences to be played out, and projections into future lifetimes inevitable. But primarily, this experience was a heads-up warning, not only of the effect consequences shared overall by people of agreement to control mechanisms that are causing a demise of creation due to the constricted consciousness that such agreed ideas result in, but a warning to be wary of individuals in our ongoing experiences. The real side will always reveal the intent of an individual. If there are any hidden agendas to be known, as the real self and awareness oversees all of creation, and can see every nuance and detail of it, including those who would present as friendly but are concealing a hidden intent, that the personal self would be less able to determine, and the surface physical world would conceal. People do have to prove and qualify themselves, and may initially be seemingly very amiable, but all deception does show up, and if the individual's deception is not unveiled on the real side, it will eventually be so on the physical, as everything equals itself. Every unaware individual is a potential tap-lining agent also, if they are not connected with their real awareness, if they are not sincere with their real intent to recognize the ears, for these people can infiltrate new friends' experiences and tap-line them through our association with them. For as we agree to individuals in our experience, we can open ourselves up to tap-liners, if such individuals happen to have hidden agendas. They may not even realize that they are unwitting pawns and spies for the dark forces. As lacking awareness, they would not see how they are puppets and eyes for the reptilians, and become tap-lining agents, as the reptilians can tap-line you from the astral via such individuals that we allow into our experience through our association and agreement acceptance of them. This real-side experience revealed what is probably a constant in the cycles of creational experience, that of an event of such magnitude, an apocalyptic scenario that would be construed as a reset in whatever agreed upon manner this might take place, and that everything repeats and re-establishes in cycles. From the ashes of a reset, things will rebuild, but throughout the creational endless cycles are the ever-present villains, those that choose to control others and garner their agreement to their positions of control. For resets of this type will take everybody down with it, regardless of if you are one of the villainous instigators or the controlled slaves that agreed to the particulars that made such situations come into cause and effect fruition. There are, of course, scenarios where the controllers are more likely to survive, to have the best underground bunkers, maybe go off planet, seek refuge, and return to what remains of the devastated planet and pick up from where they left off. Or, in the case of a complete reset, a tumultuous extinction event that takes everyone with it, controller and controlled alike, the ultimate example being a simulator implosion, the final effect culmination of a continued agreement to restriction, regardless of the severity of any reset, be it an absolute with a simulator reset, or on a lesser scale, that of a planetary reset. Always the individuals who choose to be the controllers will emerge. Such attitudes are maintained from lifetime to lifetime, from civilization, or what passes as one, to resets, and even from a complete simulator implosion to a simulator reconstitution, and everything starting over. Even individuals who spend time in the phantom zone due to their abrasive activities, such as the Queen of Orion, when they re-emerge and must start over as a tiny microbe or whatever, even then, their attitudes seem to be maintained. and it is conceivable they may go through all the body forms again and re-establish yet another tyrannical, planet-invading and subjugating empire.